Oh, hi, it's John Paulus, and since you're here, I guess it's time for Life's Potluck Buffet. Thanks for joining me. Today's card is card 42. Reveal your hidden work to yourself and others. There are things we do that we keep hidden that are really important to our work lives. Often it is an activity that you think nothing of because it is not a quote-unquote real job with a quote-unquote real job title. Fill in the blank. That's really silly. I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but I blank in my spare time. Odds are that this quote-unquote silly thing plays a large part in your current and future flourishing. I've used this technique often with people to help them see something as work that they do rather than as work that they could do. You remember the last episode where we were talking about saying I am rather than I could be and seeing how you can say that about something? Well, card 42 goes really well with card number 7 because this is something that you are saying yes to that maybe before you would have written off as like, oh, well, yes, okay. That's just some silly thing that I do. That doesn't have any impact on my life. It does. And that's what this card says. For those of you who have been to some of my workshops, thank you for going to those workshops. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. If you've been to those workshops, you're familiar with this card in a different form. And you might remember the hidden spruce exercise. That hidden spruce exercise is one that I have done with many hundreds of people. And the hidden spruce idea, let me explain it to you if you haven't been to a workshop. The story of the hidden spruce is that the tree that we call the Norway spruce in the United States and other parts of the English-speaking world, the hidden spruce exercise starts with the story of the Norway spruce. It also ends with the story of the Norway spruce. That tree is associated with, at least in my world, with Christmas tree displays at places like Rockefeller Center in New York or other places where you have the tall Christmas trees and during the holidays. So I associate these trees, as you may, with the Rockefeller Center or Berlin or any place in the world, in London, where you have a large Christmas tree on display. That's what they usually are Norway spruces. So to me, they connote northerly climes. But as it turns out, the native habitat of the Norway spruce, let me just say that in the last ice age, the Norway spruce disappeared in all of those places and further south because there was ice. It was, tundra, no trees. And the Norway spruce repopulated those areas from the southerly areas when the ice sheets receded. What that means is that places near the French Riviera and the Italian Riviera are original habitats of the Norway spruce, which is amazing for me to think about, and was amazing when I found that out. And the point of this exercise is to realize something hidden about yourself in this way. Something that you wouldn't have realized is coming from some part of your life that is really central, that comes from a place that is hidden to you. It's helpful for me to think about that story of the Norway spruce. We wouldn't look near the Italian and French Riviera to look for Norway spruces, for the original habitat of Norway spruces, but we should. Likewise, in our lives, there are things that we keep hidden from ourselves that are really, really important to us. On the YouTube channel for card number 42, there's a video about people doing fun things and talking about them, unusual things to hear about. Watch that video. I think it's very informative about how people do things in their lives that they might write off as, oh, okay, well, it's just this thing I do. In every case, you'll see that people with these quote-unquote unusual hobbies or activities that these are really central to their lives. And they explain how. For example, the man in China who does skill cranes will talk about how he doesn't think of anything else when he's doing the skill crane. And also what he does with the prizes that he wins. Look out for that. I like a skill crane, I have to say. And I really appreciate in that video that the skill crane person really differentiates between skill cranes that you can never win because they're programmed not to pick up anything effectively, and the ones that you can actually win that involve skill. I was glad to learn that there are actually ones that aren't fixed, because I thought all skill cranes were fixed. Well, that's not true. I've won a prize in a skill crane before. There used to be one we used to play back in the old days. That one was pretty good. You could win. So I shouldn't say that it's my experience that you can't win in any skill cranes. You can. I know one. I don't know if it's still around. What? That just sounded like Columbo again. I don't know if it's still around, but one last question about skill. Did you see the skill crane? I like this. As soon I'm going to do this whole episode as Columbo. But anyway, that video with people doing unusual hobbies has a lot more folks that are doing interesting things and benefiting themselves by them and benefiting others and creating community. There's the man who runs backwards. As I told you, I'm trying to figure out how to run forwards, but this guy's got backwards down pat. And for him, running backwards, he talks about it as giving him a different perspective on the world. And the same is true for the hobbyists from the washing machine club. There's a club that is for people with boring hobbies, or the self-described boring hobbies. You'll see what kind of community gets created around that and the kind of joy it brings to people's lives to do their hobbies. Do you have any hobbies that you consider unusual? I'd love to hear it. I wonder if there's anybody out there who collects either Dutch ovens or casseroles, whatever they call them, and what they do with them. If you are a person who collects Dutch ovens or casseroles, please let me know in the comments, and let me know what the name of your club is and what time it meets and what day and where. Oh, or if you're in the Netherlands and you just collect ovens, that would also a Dutch oven collecting club. That also counts. So if you do that, let me know as well. Thanks. So one last thing about hidden work. The hidden work that you do could fall into any category, and this is important to realize. The hidden work that you could do could be a future job, it could be a future hobby, it could be future volunteer work, and it could stay exactly as it is. But by recognizing that it's important to you, you recognize that silly thing you do plays a large part in your current and future flourishing. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, subscribe, and head to lifespotluck.com for a glimpse into the hidden world of Life's Potluck Buffet. Have a great day, and it's good to see you. See you next time.